Hey, it's Frank and I. Let's talk PKM. Personal knowledge management has, as it's called, is the practice of organizing your ideas, your thoughts, using a collection of tools, apps, and different pieces of information, which at its core, it's how do you take all this information, take it and package it into notes, and then actually convert that into some kind of usable output. Some of the key terms you may have heard are things like building a second brain, or maybe like linking your thinking, or this idea of a Zettelkasten, which in turn is an external representation of all these tools in a way that you can organize through it. A lot of people talking about this idea, and the problem that they're looking to solve is how do I deal with problem of information overload, of feeling overwhelmed, like I don't have any control over all the flurry of information coming my way. Then there's the sense of, I know I have a lot of stuff in me, but I can't get it out. So how do I express this in a way that feels good? And yeah, and the other big problem that a lot of people have is, how do I reduce the stress and actually get to doing the creative things I want to do? That's PKM in a nutshell. However, there's a lot of interesting tidbits and rabbit holes you can go through. I'm coming to you with a perspective of having looked at, thought of, I am up to my eyes when it comes to information on knowledge management. And I'd like to present a different perspective, namely one that invites you not to try and build all these different tools and complicated setups, but rather one that starts from you as a person doing your all to manage your own knowledge. So it's a person-first approach that stems from you having joy, that you feeling happy, that you understand and can actually see the things that matter most in your life. I want to take the best thinking of all these different approaches. I have, what are my credentials? Well, I've been a top mentor for the Building a Second Brain program. I've also gone and coursed through a lot of the other programs in the industry, and I have had one-on-one coaches where I've spent hundreds of hours actively working, hearing, refining, thinking with people, oftentimes in a call just like this, one-on-one. And I just keep coming back to this understanding that you could easily save anywhere from 2 to 5 years in your PKM and productivity journey if you take the time to understand who you are. So that's the conversation that I'm looking to have here on this channel, the ability to express these ideas. I will aim to cover through a multitude of different lenses, the perspective and the problems. But really the key person that I help is someone who is not new to PKM, someone who has an understanding, you've taken the time, you understand the value of knowledge work. In fact, this isn't a term that is foreign to you because you value your insights. You take an active time to think, to transmit this information that's coming through you to the world in such a way that you can actually use it to impact others. So in particular, the crowd and person that I'm targeting is the entrepreneur, the thought leader, the content creator, course creator, teacher, consultant, the person who values knowledge because they understand like this is what life is made of, this information, and who wants to be able to take personal insights that only you can discover through your own ideas, develop a lens that takes this information and packages it into something useful. And that process of useful is where we get into the entrepreneurship part, building digital products, building and setting up experiences. I have a UX background as well, where someone can go from a stranger, unknowing of you and your ideas and your thoughts, follow a journey in such a way that they get to an understanding, and that understanding results in some monetary extraction or exchange, really. I give you money, you give me information, right? And all of this could be done through a process of building your own knowledge and then expressing it. So we go from just being consumers and hoarders of information to actually being able to create it and put it out there in such a way that we can influence others for the good. That's the excitement. There's a lot of PKM teachers, instructors, mentors. I am actively living this material. And what I try to bring to the table is the sense of joy. I believe that once you have a good, solid knowledge base, one where you understand what you're here to do, when you understand your thoughts, your ideas, and you give them the credibility and worth they deserve, not only can you make a better impact, get better jobs, help and have better relationships with those that matter to you, improve your health because now you have access to this information, which is so valuable to you, but you can actually take the time to understand and develop the meaning. The meaning that can only come from a person who's aligned, a person who believes and has clear direction as to what they're doing and how they're doing it. And so that's kind of the higher level picture. If we want to get into tacticals, the tools that I recommend highly are Obsidian and Notion, and also pen and paper. In fact, I like to quip and brag about my super expensive journal, which I'm going to show you. This is my go-to. I am a big advocate of journaling and morning pages. So you'll hear me talking about these ideas often. But at its core, I'd like to invite you to think about your journey. What's led you up to here? What has this pursuit of knowledge ended up with? Is it where you'd like it to be? And I'm not saying this in a way of rattling or trying to break up open an experience here, but I'm inviting you to reconsider that there's a version of you who is thankful for this work you're doing, that chooses a new pathway towards a better life, a life where information doesn't feel like a hoard, like a hoard of work that you have to do, like this difficult thing that you're slogging through. No, but rather joyful, effortless. And it starts when we start this conversation, which we're going to do here, into managing our personal knowledge management, our productivity, in a way that is natural and fulfilling. All right, so that was it. Frank and Naya, check out my links, resources, there's other videos. But yeah, this is just me starting the process of conversing and having this conversation with you, future friends and collaborators. Can't wait to talk more.